Okay, I don't talk about rumors that much on this channel, but it's Paper Mario. I kinda had to. And if you know anything about me in this channel, saying that I'm obsessed with Paper Mario is kind of an understatement. Like, I got excited over the Paper Mario 64 icons that were added to Nintendo Switch Online. Like, I'm up there with Arlo, Super Mario T, and Chugga Conroy as, like, one of those, like, YouTubers who won't shut up about Paper Mario. But yeah, so the Thousand Year Door just got rumored to have a remaster on the Nintendo Switch. And yeah, I kind of wanted to discuss that in the video and like what that could possibly mean, how likely this is and everything. But just right off the bat, I'm just gonna say that it's not very likely. Like this rumor, like, I mean, I guess there's like a little bit to it, like you could see, but like, I'm gonna take this with a grain of salt. Don't get your hopes up. Like, I don't really think it's likely that we'll get Thousand Year Door on the Switch, or at least according to this rumor, or because of this rumor specifically. I mean, I feel like it's still possible, but like, I'm not really gonna believe this rumor or like back up this rumor too much, because we still don't have that much information on it. Like, we might get more information on these sources over the next few days, but we'll just have to see. I'm not gonna get my hopes up. But I still think a Thousand Year Door remake makes a lot of sense right now. And there definitely is a small chance that Nintendo could be making it, or technically Intelligent Systems could be making it, but we'll just have to see. Nintendo has been releasing a lot of different remasters for certain games, especially GameCube and Wii games. Well, with Wii games, they had Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, which is technically a remake, but still like kind of in the same like general point of like a remaster and everything. But with the GameCube games, they released Metroid Prime Remastered, which was really good, and it definitely upgraded the game a lot. And definitely improved the game visually and also control-wise as well. And then there's also another, two GameCube games, and Kaitos 1 and 2 are also going to be remastered for the Switch. And while technically it's being published by Bandai Namco, it's still a game developed by Monolith Soft, which is owned by Nintendo now. And it's also like an exclusive as well. So it's kinda sorta a GameCube remaster for the Switch, like a Nintendo GameCube remaster. So it's kinda sorta a part of that, but not entirely. Though it was announced in the same direct and around the same time that the Metroid Prime remaster was revealed, so it might be kind of pushed alongside that in some way. But there's also been some rumors as well, like the F-Zero GX remaster, and also the remasters for the other Metroid Prime games on the Switch. So Nintendo might be doing something with the GameCube games here. They might be handling it in a similar way to how they released like either NSO or the Virtual Console, but instead they're like full-on remaster releases. This, like, instead of NSO or any kind of Virtual Console or any service like that, I feel like this is the way that Nintendo is or could be releasing the GameCube games. It makes a lot of sense why they would do it, because like they definitely take up a lot more space than Nintendo 64 or Game Boy games. So it makes a lot of sense in that area. And I couldn't really see Nintendo doing like a full library of like GameCube games like how they did with the Nintendo 64. So this is probably how they're gonna release GameCube as well as Wii games from now on, like as remasters, like probably releasing around the $30 to $40 price point. And with Metroid Prime Remastered, like, I was fine with that being $40, because they did change a lot of the original game. And it did feel very refined, and it did feel like there was some effort put into it. So I do have faith in the remaster so far. But about Thousand Year Door, The Thousand Year Door definitely makes a lot of sense as like one of the next GameCube remasters they could do if they are potentially releasing more GameCube remasters, because it's highly requested. Like there's a lot of people that have been wanting like a remaster of the Thousand Year Door, like especially myself. Like Arlo actually did a petition as well as like a hashtag back in 2019 for remastering the Thousand Year Door, and the petition on change.org is actually the most signed Nintendo related petition on that website, and it has over 50,000 supporters. I think it's around 55,000 at this point. And there's just a lot of people, like I've seen people send letters to Nintendo, a ton of people making videos, people still tweeting about it to this day, even before the rumors happened. But it's highly requested. People want this. Like, all sides of the Paper Mario fan base want this to happen. And it just, like, it makes a lot of sense for it to happen. Like, I feel like it would be good to have, like, more people, more fans be able to play this game legally and everything. And yeah, it's just, like, it's a very highly requested re-release, and it would kind of definitely be a missed opportunity for Nintendo financially if they didn't remaster either this game or some other GameCube games as well. But yeah, like, I feel like this game, like Thousand Year Door, a remaster of it definitely has the potential of selling as well as Origami King did, which I believe was around 3 million. So there definitely is a possibility it could sell like fairly well if it was like remastered on the Switch and everything. So there's definitely a lot of support behind it. And there's also been enough time for Nintendo or Intelligent Systems to notice this and develop a remaster, since this, like, the support behind it kind of went viral around 2019 going into like early 2020. So there definitely has been enough time at this point, but we'll just have to see. Like, Nintendo often doesn't do things that make a lot of sense. Like, I mean, Nintendo's kind of known for that. So, I mean, the fact that there's a lot of fans wanting this definitely isn't an indication of Nintendo doing this at all. It just, like, there has been a lot of fan support for this, so I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo did know about it at this point. Like, Nintendo did kind of have, like, a lot of acknowledgement towards Paper Mario 64 back in 2021, like, for its North American 20th anniversary. Like, they had the tweet about it, and they also, like, did, like a little fun trailer for the Paper Mario 64 release on Nintendo Switch Online. And they even added it to a Paper Mario playlist, which I believe was created, like, just a couple years ago. Like, either around the release of Paper Mario 64 on MSO, or around the time that Origami King released. Like, they created, like, a whole playlist for Paper Mario games, which I thought is pretty interesting. Like, they only have playlists for, like, certain specific things. Like, they don't always do it for certain spin-offs. So I found it interesting that they did create it, and they actually managed to put the NSO video on there as well. So that is kind of interesting. It probably doesn't mean much at all, but it just kind of goes to show that Nintendo has been slightly acknowledging these games a little bit. But, yeah, like, even though the likelihood behind it, it's not very likely if you, like, just think about it, like, with how Nintendo seems to be treating, like, Thousand Year Door in the older Paper Mario games, but there still is a small chance that Nintendo could be acknowledging some of this. Like, because, I mean, the Paper Mario stuff is kind of infamous in the Nintendo fan base overall. But about, like, Thousand Year Door, like, a lot of the time, people feel like it won't be remastered, or we won't get a Paper Mario game in general that's like Thousand Year Door, because there's, like, a lot of, well, I mean, there's definitely a lot of restrictions still in intelligent systems specifically, kind of seemingly being imposed by Kensuke Tanabe and the IP team that he mentions. But outside of that, like, Nintendo has been more open to, like, more creative Mario media, like Mario Odyssey, Mario plus Rabbids, Luigi's Mansion 3, and even the movie. So, while it might not seem likely that intelligent systems would really want to do something related to the Thousand Year Door, or at least, like, the executives kind of working with intelligent systems, it seems like Nintendo themselves would be open to doing something like that. I mean, like, even though they haven't made anything, like, on the creative scale of Thousand Year Door in terms of, like, NPC variety. I mean, arguably Mario Odyssey is just as creative as Thousand Year Door, just, kind of rolling out, like, the unique toads or, like, certain things, but, like, Nintendo has definitely been more lenient, and, like, I could see them, like, possibly, like, approving, like, a remaster for the Thousand Year Door if it's not gonna change much and just release in the context of, like, how that game was, um, almost 20 years ago now. I can't believe that game is almost 20 years old, but, like, kind of like how they released Metroid Prime Remastered. And with, like, other Mario remakes, with, like, the Mario and Luigi remakes, they didn't really change that much about them. Like, they kept most of the original characters in the game. Like, the only characters that were changed were, like, a couple enemies and a couple unique toads. But there still were, like, a couple unique toads that were in the game and everything. Like, they still kept ones with, like, facial hair, and they kept Toadsworth, and they kept things like that. And, like, a lot of the enemies, they kept most of the unique enemies in the game, and most of the original characters. So, if a Thousand Year Door remaster, or even a remake, happens, I don't think they're gonna change much about it, and considering the fact that this is a remaster, I doubt they would change much about it at all if it, like, if it is, like, not a remake and just a straight up remaster, like, faithfully kind of, almost porting the game onto the Switch just with, like, upgraded visuals and everything. But what I'd expect out of, like, a remaster of this is, like, very minimal changes. Like, the only changes would probably be with, like, balancing and quality of life updates, like, such as, like, fast traveling and different things like that, or, like, improvements in different things, like, almost like things that I mentioned in, like, how to improve, how I'd improve Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. I made a video about that last year with various things that I'd change about the game. Like, various small changes like that are possible in a remaster, and, like, also, obviously, things like upgraded textures, models, like, very small visual changes. I doubt they would, like, overhaul the visual style to look more like the modern games. I don't really think that's likely. I think they're just gonna do it in the same engine as the original game and just kind of upgrade some of the, um, textures, models, and various things like that. Just kind of tweak it. And yeah, and I feel like they could also add some small things, like a couple new badges, just like for extra things, or maybe like a museum or a boss rush. Like, very minor additions I could see them adding. Maybe not even that. Maybe just the straight up game with just quality of life features. But yeah, while I don't think this rumor is very likely or has much substance to it, I still feel like a Thousand Year Door remaster isn't outside of the realm of possibility, and I definitely would want it to happen. It would be great if a lot of people were able to play this game. Like, Origami King, I liked it. It was a good game, but I feel like people should also be able to experience the rest of the series as well. Like, it's good that Paper Mario 64 is on the Switch, but that is locked behind the expansion pack, and not a lot of people are willing to pay $50 for that. And then, like, games like Super Paper Mario aren't as accessible anymore, because they're on the, it was on the Wii U, and then the Wii U eShop was shut down, and then now you have to try to find a physical copy of the game. And then with Thousand Year Door, that didn't get a re-release at all. It was only released on the GameCube. So there's really only like one legal way to play it, and that's just track down a $100 plus copy of Thousand Year Door somewhere, like maybe on eBay or something, and just like it's really like not like in a good position right now. Like a lot of GameCube games aren't, with like how expensive they are or how hard they are to get a hold of for most people. And not everyone is willing to emulate as well. So I really think Nintendo should remaster the Thousand Year Door and also remaster other GameCube games as well, like the rumored F-Zero GX, and then also some other ones that I want, like Kirby Air Ride, various things like that. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server if you want to. Goodbye.